What's up, everyone? So I bought a house. So for those of you guys who don't know, I ended up winning $1 million on the Snapchat challenge, and we ended up going and buying a house immediately.
Listen, you've been grinding. The ethos around you from everybody, this kid's hungry. He fucking truly works. He's got nuances.
What you were about to watch is 100% Josh.
We are going to Atlanta.
Josh and I are on this mission.
What's up, guys? This is episode 2 of Careers in Social Media. This is my first interview for this series, and I am honored to be here with this guy. I met him actually on this app. This app, maybe you might not know about it. It's called Clubhouse. Does it still exist?
Clubhouse?
Yeah.
I just went on it. I got paid to go on it a couple days ago. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to last much longer, but
okay,
it's pretty
so
cool.
Before we get into that, so Dominic, I'm here with Dominic Andre. He has 6.8 million TikTok followers. He has 284,000 Instagram followers, 130K subs on YouTube. He has 100,000 plaques from YouTube. Finesse the system. He has 100,000 subs on Snapchat. And, you know, he just recently made over $1 million on Snap. And he has 6.4 thousand Clubhouse subscribers. So, regarding Clubhouse, that's the first thing I want to get into because I met Dominic in Clubhouse through our good friend Eli. He's your cousin.
Yeah, he's like a family friend. We grew up together.
So Eli from Food Beast, he hosted this little chat called, it was called like Talking Shit OC, something like that.
Yeah.
Like OC Shit Talkers, something like that. And that's where I met Dominic. And so Clubhouse was this app that was fantastic. It felt like nothing has ever done what Clubhouse has ever done. And I met Dominic through there. And so if it wasn't for this app, Clubhouse, I would have never met him, right? So, Dominic, what do you think is going on with Clubhouse? What do you think happened that it was like so sick, this awesome app, to now it's kind of not as relevant, you know?
So I was just talking to someone about this, and they have like a pretty big following on there. They're like 50K. And I was like, look, at the end of the day, people go there to get value, but there's only so much value you can get. You used to work for Gary Vee.
Correct.
I don't know if you still do, but you used to work for him. Gary Vee, I didn't like in the beginning. And I still don't, as a person, he's a great person. But the business mindset, I get it. For personal reasons, he's trying to build his brand. For me, there's only so much motivating you can do. Like his mindset, I do like, as I listen to him more, he kind of like would backtrack and say like, hey, I'm not saying everyone should be an entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. But what I started to realize is that Clubhouse is basically like live courses. And at some point, you could listen to people or you could just do it. And like, there's only so many rooms you can be in before you're like, all right, I've learned enough about YouTube, and if I'm still not successful on it, then maybe it's not what I need to hear. It's like I need to physically change everything I'm doing.
I think one thing that was hilarious, that I forget the specific thing, nor I'm pretty sure we both forgot the person, but there was a room talking about either it was like TikTok growth, Instagram growth, and they were saying advice that was just completely off. Like
They all do. They all do.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me the most because for example, let's just say Charli D'Amelio. Charli D'Amelio is not a good example of how to grow on TikTok. I know that sounds weird and counterintuitive. She did it by luck, right? Like she's a great dancer. She's a great, just everything great. But there are people, she can't sit here and tell me she's the best, right? She can't tell me she's the best at making videos. She can't tell me she's the best at dancing. What it was like a happenstance. It's called happenstance theory, where her video just happened to do really well. And she put in good work for it, but then the crowd kind of went with it, right? Like Dogecoin, it's not like, dude, but Doge is so great. No, it's not. We all know it's not. But it popped off because of the hype. Yeah. And hype doesn't necessarily mean utility or anything. Sure. So for a Clubhouse and for those rooms, I hear a lot of people being like, oh, well, just because you have a following is meaningless. Charli D'Amelio will never be able to give advice to people because she doesn't know what it's like being a person who may not be quote unquote beautiful. Right? She's a very pretty young girl. Like she's not going to understand what it's like for someone who might be a person of color, right? Like everyone has things that disadvantage them. And so like when I hear people give advice across the board, I hate it because it's never applicable to like anyone, but the person like, sure. If you're a 28-year-old Middle Eastern Arab who looks exactly like me and you're giving advice and we have the same skills, I'd love to listen to it because we probably can do the same thing. Yeah. But like anything they have to say is meaningless. And so I talk very broad when I give advice, very broad. Like, hey, here's some tips. You know, like if this was a thing, like post on Wednesdays, that's applicable to everyone. If that was a thing.
Sure.
But they'll say things like, what you need to do is, I'm like, dude, stop. Like they'll give specific advice to someone and I'm like, you're doing it from your perspective, but that's just not how that works.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of times too, the people on Clubhouse, they were on these apps literally as a funnel to get them into their courses.
Oh God.
Right.
Ugh, I hate that.
Yeah. I hated it too, man. And there was like a lot of drama that even happened because people were trying to like shut these down. Clubhouse was like giving these guys so much organic reach, so much followers, from literally just selling courses that are outdated, you know, not applicable to anything. But so like mentioning Charlie, I think there is one thing that like all of this TikTok, even just Snapchat as a whole, it comes down to this one thing, which was, innovation, right? So, Charlie was posting videos while it was Musically, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, Musically was super weird. Like it was like not cool. Like
Yeah, no.
if you
it was
post
very
on,
specific.
If you post on Musically, yeah, the dancing, right? Just dancing, pretty much. And it like I didn't know anyone that posted on Musically, right? When did you start posting on social media? Was it Musically, specifically just TikTok? Was it Musically or was it TikTok?
I think my first video I posted was on Musically, and I had noticed when I opened Musically, it was just a lot of girls. And I told my girlfriend, I'm like, I'm gonna post a video of you, like she was just like jumping in the pool, and I was like, I swear it's probably gonna go viral with this like thing. I posted it. I don't think it really went anywhere, and then I was like, it didn't go viral. Like whatever, I'll move on.
Sure.
But I actually started on kind of like on Instagram. I would do photography for influencers.
Okay.
I was going to school and I knew I wanted to be creative, but I have no creative bone in my body. So I was just like, well, the next thing is to pick up technology, right? Like if I can't paint, I can use Photoshop, and I don't necessarily need, and I'm not even good at that, but I was like, a camera can do the work. So I kind of compensated my lack of skill with equipment, right? So like I got really dope cameras, and then I was able to take really dope photos, and I practiced. I'm still not the best, but I'm pretty good. And then I would take photos of influencers for fun, never charge them. And I met like a bunch of them. And then I started just doing it for fun, never charged anyone. And then about 2019, I was friends with Seth Francois from the David Dobrik kind of scandal thing.
Sure. Which one? Which
yeah,
scandal?
a lot. And so I'd known him for years. And so I was like, oh, like I know you have 100K on Instagram. And to me back then, that was just like, oh crap, like you're famous.
What year was this, you think?
This was 2019.
Okay.
This is like early 2019. This is like in January 2019.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, like, you're actually even mid 2019. And I was like, oh, like you have a big following. And granted, like he doesn't have a massive following now that I look back. 100K is like, But anywhere he went, literally anywhere we went, anyone would recognize him.
Really?
Anywhere we went.
Wow. Well, because he was in David's vlogs.
Yeah,
right?
He was in just enough of them to where like he is pretty much as known as all of them.
Sure,
because anyone who's watched David probably has seen Seth in it at some point.
Right.
Because not many people just watch one episode and stop. Like they'll watch a bunch. And so, you know what I mean? Anywhere I went. So I was like, dude, this guy has recognizability. I've got really dope ideas on creating a fun kind of like BuzzFeed type cut video where it was like, today we're going to be doing Jenga and muscle stimulators. And so I was like, hey, let's start a YouTube channel together. And he's like, I'm down. I got like 20 interns from my college. I was like, hey guys, like look at Seth. He's got some dope, connections. And I've got dope ideas and you guys got the skill to make it happen. Let's all do this.
Okay.
And I was like, I should start posting like on TikTok, maybe start building my following. And I have like the original videos. I'm at my college where we were going to recruit people to help us like create this channel. And I was just like, this is my first TikTok. And I was like making a joke out of it. And then it like you got a couple hundred views. And I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. Cause like you could post a photo on Instagram right now on a new account and it will stay at 0 forever.
Correct.
But on TikTok, it was like 200 views.
Yeah.
I was like, where's 200 people coming from? So I was like, oh, you know what? Like I should kind of post about this more. So I continued to post about it or on TikTok. And this was back in November of 2019.
Okay.
And I posted my first video October 15th and then like into November. And I got like a 10,000 views, 5,000 views on a bunch of different things. I was just doing trends. Back then the trend was I used to be so beautiful and whatever, and then you would change into like something, right? I don't know if you ever saw it.
No, and I know a lot of the early TikTok.
This was like the one where they would dress as like zombies. They would like cut to them and they would do the whole walk.
It
was a big one. It was the two Spanish guys, the brothers.
Okay.
And they kind of were like really big on it. And so I would just like do funny little things. And then my little friend, family friend, Riley, she posted on TikTok. She's young. I think at the time she was 14.
Okay.
And she posted, do you know that song, You're a Slave to My...
Do Not Lie?
Do Not Lie.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I saw her TikTok and she's singing it. And she's like 14.
Oh my goodness.
I'm really progressive. I don't care, but I thought it was funny. I was like, oh my God. So I told my mom, I was like, Mom, you see like Riley saying these words? It's so weird. And my mom's super progressive too. And she's like, what? Like, that's gross. And her aunt was there. She's like she's like her aunt. And her aunt's like what? I'm like, yeah. And then my mom's like, why the heck do you let her do that? Like, and they're joking, but like yelling at each other. And she's like, what do you mean? I don't control her. And my mom's just like, she's saying you're a slave to my on social media. And I was like laughing because they're both like yelling at each other, kind of jokingly. But my mom's like, what is wrong with you? And so I was like, oh, this is so funny. I want to film this.
Yeah.
So I filmed them yelling at each other and I posted it. And I like was starting to go to bed and I look at it and it was at 1 million. And I was like,
in one day?
within like 3 hours.
Wow.
And then I was like, oh my, or I think it was like 700K. And then I was like, oh my God, I couldn't sleep. Like I was like what is going on? I'm too nervous. Like what's going on? And like I go to bed, I wake up 5 million. And then they blocked it. They kicked me.
Interesting.
They blocked the video. And then I emailed everyone at TikTok. They hated me for like the first 6 months. I emailed so many people because at the beginning I didn't understand, just repost it. I thought like if I post this again, it's going to get deleted. And I figured this was my ticket to get a huge following. What the heck? Like, screw you guys.
Yeah.
So I emailed everyone. I literally got the head of creators to call me and be like, can you please stop emailing everyone? Like, if you have questions, you can ask me. And I was like, here's the problem. I had a video going to 5 million. It was on track to probably hit 50 million. Like, it was barreling. Like, I posted at 7 at night. By the morning, it was at 5 million.
Right.
By the way, this is early TikTok, so this is not where they would stop at like 2 million. Like, it was barreling, and I was gaining. I gained like 200,000 from that one video. So I was like, okay, like this is. I get it. Like I was kind of being selfish. Like there's a million users, 10 million users. They can't listen to everyone. But I'm like, I was on track to hit 1 million followers from one video, and you cut it. Like, it's reasonable to get mad at. I annoyed everyone. They were like, just blah blah blah. They're like, just repost it. Reposted it.
They told you to repost it?
Yeah, so basically you can repost your videos if they get banned. You do take the risk of if it is actually violating the guidelines, you can get banned like permanently. But I just reposted and he basically told me, look, the system's not great. You'll have to repost it, and it probably just got caught up. And you might get a kid or two that reports it, and that's why the AI just gets triggered and it's like, oh, okay, let's do it. So I reposted it and it did like 2-3 million. I was like, okay. And then I was like, well, how can I capitalize on this? And I'm a very ADD person when it comes to work, where if I don't see immediate results, I pretty much quit. And it's because I put in like 5,000% for like a week. And if I don't notice anything, it doesn't have to be huge, but if I don't notice anything, I'm like, I'm done. So with TikTok, it was like, oh, right away, like 5,000 views, 2,000 views. I'm like, all right, this is it. Then it was like 2 million. I'm like, that's it. This is what I'm doing.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, what can I do now? So then I started writing scripts for my parents. Like, hey, it would actually be based off real fights. Like, I'd come in, they'd be yelling about something. I'm like, all right, you guys are idiots. This is hilarious. All right, can you do this again? And so he'd be like, okay. My dad's like a thick ass accent, and he's like, okay, I'll do it. And my mom's like, okay. And so my mom just insults people. She's really good at it. It's kind of mean. And so I was like, oh, just keep insulting each other, and I'd film it. Every video was like 5 million, 3 million, 2 million. I got up to like 600,000 at that point.
Damn.
And then it kind of dwindled down. What I noticed with TikTok is it's kind of like my personality. After a couple weeks of doing something, it gets kind of old. So the audience just didn't care anymore about the fights. It was just like, cool, I've seen it. And so they moved on. And I got hit up by a lot of people, like World Star, everyone. These were getting posted everywhere. Oh, wow. It went viral on Twitter, everywhere, like millions of views. And so everyone was putting like, your mom has big dick energy. And so, because she would just like make fun of my dad, kind of like brutally. Your mom passed the vibe check. Oh yeah. And so then I started doing that. It kind of died off. And then I was like, okay, what's the next thing? And then you probably remember this. Everyone was doing this whole like do I found a door in my house. Like part 2 to see what's behind it. Like it was in my closet. Like, or I found a safe. And so I was like, damn, dude, these videos are popping off. And because they would say like for part 2, people would follow because they would want to see what's in the room.
So you were early on the whole like for part 2 thing.
Oh,
now it's
yeah.
kind of looked down upon. People are like, you don't need a part 2. Like just live.
Oh yeah, I have 3 minutes on my TikTok, so I could do a 3-minute video.
Exactly.
So there's no excuse anymore. But I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I was like, okay, they're doing this. I'm like, what can I do a little bit differently? And I used to be mess around with these like invisible pens. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna write on the wall, and I'm gonna put. And I've never said this out loud, so everyone will find out that it's fake. But I don't really care. It's a part of the entertainment. But I was like, okay, I've got this invisible pen. I'm gonna write on the wall. Like, don't forget the safe in the backyard. And then what I'll do is I'll be like, oh, my friend brought this black light over to kind of make fun of my dirty room, and look what we found. Posted it, 15 million views
In how long?
like a day.
Oh my god.
And I was like, oh, okay. Like I came up with an idea. I'm not like a genius where I'm like, I know this will go viral. But I was like, dude, this should go viral. And it did. And then I was like, okay, well, how do we capitalize on it? That's my one skill in life, if I have any, is I can capitalize on things if it works out. I can't guarantee myself I go viral, but if I do, I know more than anyone how to capitalize. And that's why we'll talk about it later, but that's why I make 5 times more than anyone with my following, if not more, because I know how to capitalize. I'm not the greatest at content. They're better than me. They're more consistent. They might even work harder than me. I just know how to capitalize. So with this, I was like, okay, how do we capitalize? So I was like, okay, part 2, I'm going to write a name in my attic, and I'm going to write the name of a serial killer. But psychologically, I studied this. I'm going to write a name of a serial killer, but I'm going to tell the audience, oh, this must be the name of the old owner. And I'm not going to say anything else because they're going to do the lookup.
Was it a famous one? Because I know
it was a famous one, local. Randy, what was his? I don't even remember. Randy something.
Randy Kraft?
Randy Kraft, I think. And he was local to my area. And I said, oh, I live in Orange County. I guess like this must have been the old owner. I knew to say those 2 things. When they looked it up, they were like, this was, and I put a date. And they were like, this was a serial killer in that area during that date. And I was like they were in the comments like going wild. So I played dumb because I felt that if they did the legwork, then they would feel like I must be in the dark and they know, so they need to tell me and they believe me.
And now they're invested and they want to know. Not you like, hey, look at this, guys. It's like they're like, hey, what's going on? What's going on?
And especially if I said, this is a serial killer, they're going to be like, oh, cool, you just put that there. But if me saying, oh, it just must be the old owners. Well, anyway, cool, guys, thanks. And then they're like,
that was
no,
the whole video.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They're probably like, no, what do you mean? Like, no, that's a serial killer. You got to give us more. So then I think, I don't know if I was there the next video, I put like basically go to my YouTube. Within 6 hours of posting that video, I grew 70,000. I always range it. You'll see other interviews where I'll range it. I don't know the exact number, but I think it was like 60 to 80,000 subscribers within a couple of hours. My first YouTube video that was sitting there, because I didn't even have any videos at the time for the story. I didn't know I would grow that fast. It was just me being like, hey guys, this is my YouTube channel and I'm going to be showing tons of cool stuff. That was it. It was like a minute-long video. That did like 130,000 for someone with no following. And they didn't know me.
Before the Randy Kraft.
This was right when the Randy Kraft happened.
And then
like, they all went there. YouTube. No, I had the video up and then I was there for like a couple days. And then they went and they were like, they wanted anything. So they watched my intro to YouTube. And it did 130,000 for someone with no following. For my first video to do 130,000 is insane.
That is insane because there wasn't even anything Randy Kraft related yet.
No, right? Nothing. They were waiting. They were begging. What I did learn psychologically is that if you put a part 2 or if you put all the information up front, you will get about 75% less subscribers.
Sure.
Because they'll watch it and leave rather than saying, well, I want to know, so I'll subscribe to make sure I get updates. Yeah. So I still would hold to that strategy. It really does work. So at that point, I grew really fast and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to start posting YouTube videos. I posted a couple, but before I did, I get an email and it says Dominic Andre collab, the X YouTube.
Whoa.
And I was like,
already?
Yeah.
What
the next day.
What
and I was
like,
heck? What? And I like looked at him like, no way. And I was like tripping out and I was like, no, this can't be real. And then I click it and it says like, this is from like the girl's email at Google.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And I ended up finding out like, no, yeah, this is from YouTube and they want me to be in a white glove program with me, Charlie D'Amelio. I think they told me the other girl, and I think it's Brittany Broski, but I've never checked her YouTube following, so I don't know if she had a big following at that point. But yeah, there was like 3 or 4 people at this time. She said there were only 5 people back then that had grown that fast, and I was one of them.
Holy.
And she's like, because she said, I was like, is this typical? Like, she's like, you're in the top 5 I've ever seen. Now, granted, now it's so different. I mean, people are growing millions. I have a friend who grew 2 million this month on YouTube. So back then it was just like big. And so they partnered me up. They verified me day 1. And then at that point I started posting videos. My YouTube, eventually that story kind of died down and I stopped posting about it. But yeah, that video ended up gaining me about almost 90,000 in total after a couple of days on YouTube. Those videos were averaging 300K, which is huge again for someone with no following. And then I went over and I just went back to TikTok. And then I got to the point where I was on like part 7 and then people were kind of like, okay, I'm over this. Like it's kind of people, what I realized is what would happen is on part 1 or 2, people would be like, oh, I'll just go watch part 1 to catch up. On part 7, anyone who would come across it would be like, I'm not about to go watch 7 parts. Right. They'd skip and then it would cause the video to flop because people are like, I'm not willing to watch it. And the algorithm would be like, that must be a bad video. When it wasn't, they just didn't want to go back. So they're like, I'm going to skip. So at that point I realized, well, trend is dead again. On to the next. And the next thing I was like, well, what are you good at, Dom? What can you offer? I'm like, well, I'm really intelligent when it comes to science and logic. And so I was like, let me just teach some cool science stuff. Posted an infinite chocolate video, which is like this is one from years ago.
Yeah, the little diagram thing.
Yeah, and the audience on TikTok is so young that you can recycle content from when we were younger, and they'll just eat it up.
And it's contextual to them.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so, and like it's new to them. They've never seen it. They're just like, what is this? And I'm like, dude, we learned about it years ago. But I was like, I want to reteach them some of this cool stuff because it was cool to me. It's not like I'm copying. It's not like someone invented it, right? Like it's not a trend or anything. It's just like
a cool trademark.
Yeah, it's an experiment. Yeah. Every experiment's repeatable. It's the point of science. So it's like, oh, I want to do experiments for them. Anyway, I posted that 20 million.
That chocolate video?
Chocolate video, like 20 million. Then I posted another video of it, like from being like, maybe it's fake. And then I like made a video where I did it. And then I looked to the left and there's a pile of chocolate. I'm like, no, it's working. And that one did like 5-10 million. And then that's when I was like, I need to brand myself. I need to put on a white coat because I'm going to be honest, I'm not the prettiest. I'm not the most fit. I'm not the youngest. So what do I have? I need something that's going to stand out, a white coat.
Sure.
So I put on a white coat and I created the persona of like Dominic, the science guy. And then I continued from there, and that's where I am today. That's like the short version, I guess. It's 20 minutes.
So what's really cool is, especially on Clubhouse and on TikTok, there's this one trend that goes, if you blow up for one thing, that is your content for the rest of life. You cannot change. You cannot pivot. Don't even attempt to pivot. Right. And you just mentioned 2-3 pivots, right?
Oh, yeah. You can pivot. And I've yelled at people on Clubhouse when they're like, beware, you're going to pigeonhole yourself. And I was like, beware, that's not a thing. And if you don't have a following, you shouldn't talk. And if you do and you haven't changed content, then how would you know that you can't change content?
Yeah. I think people, they use the algorithm. They use this, if you blow up for one thing, that's your brand forever. They use that kind of as an excuse to like, oh, my content's really good. It's just since I tried pivoting, it's not working. When really it's like the content's just not good enough.
Yeah, right? It's like you were good at skating. You're not good at art, Betsy.
Sure.
And so it's like, what do you expect? Like, but I tried to change from skating to art. Like, okay, well, no shit. You're probably just not good at art. Or you're not good at creating videos for art. You're good at creating skateboard videos. Like, and that's what people don't understand. And like, I want to be like Simon Cowell and tell them like, your shit sucks. Like, what do you want me to tell you? My shit sucks all the time.
Yeah, they don't want to.
And you know what I do? I don't go, oh, it's the algorithm. Nah, I just need to get better.
Yeah. So I have a TikToker, pretty big. He has like 2-3 million, and he comes to me. He's like, Josh, what's going on in the algorithms right now? Like, have you noticed anything different in the algorithms? Like, or is it the thumbnails? Like. And I'm like, dude, like it's literally, you just have to make good content. Like that is the answer for like anything content related to social media. Like, is the content good? And that's the other thing too. You mentioned a good point that, perhaps you might not be a genius, but you had the just like general idea that this is probably good. And then you put it out there and you let the market test it. Right. So, okay. So that's awesome then. So it's not like you wanted to pursue a career in social media and video making. Was that the initial thing, or were you just kind of like, let's see if I have a creative outlet?
I was working as a therapist,
Right.
and a nonprofit for refugees, working with kids and actually pretty much everyone. I had clients that were as young as 6 and clients as old as 75.
Okay.
And I was working as a therapist, doing my hours. We call ourselves therapist trainees because we have to basically do 3,000 hours for free, pretty much. And then eventually we can get licensed where we can just start our own practice. So there's no difference between me as a trainee, quote unquote, and that's why I hate the word trainee, and a therapist. Yeah, they're more experienced, but we work at the same capacity. Like I'm alone in the therapy room. And so I was doing that, and then COVID hit. And on March 16th, so I had a following at this point. I think I was at 1 million followers at the time. COVID hit, and I remember March 16th exactly. I get connected with Hype House like a couple weeks before and do some dope videos. Everything's going viral. I made a couple $100. I think at this point I made like $2-3 grand, $5 grand. It was like, okay, I made like $5 grand, like, and that's cool. And then I got a deal with Fashion Nova that week. Bang.
Wow.
And like Hype House connected me, like, oh, here's the Bang email. You want to get a deal? I'm like, oh, thanks. Like, I really appreciate it, which is why I really like the Hype House. They're very nice people.
That directly Alex?
Yeah,
Warren?
Alex. He's a friend of mine.
Solid
and like,
dude.
I met him like through TikTok, and he is actually a very, regardless of what anyone thinks, like if you actually meet him, very, very nice guy.
I've actually only heard like only positive things about him, like tremendously positive. Like people sell him to like an utmost. Like Logan Paul, when he went on that podcast, like they were like, dude, you just have so much potential and you're like a solid guy.
No, he's a really good guy. I really like him. And
That's
so
awesome.
he connected me, very nice. Him and Thomas, both actually very nice. And then I got like on that day, on March 16th, I closed the deal. And then I closed the deal for other creators too, and was like making a cut. And then was like, oh crap, now I'm making like a good amount of money. And COVID hit, and then I couldn't practice like therapy anymore. So I was like, oh well,
Perfect.
like it's kind of great. And so I never went back. It's been a year,
Right.
a little over a year now, and I haven't gone back to working as a therapist because I was like, what? There's no point now.
Right.
I'll just use social media full time. So that was what I was doing, and then social media kind of fell in my lap. Again, I was always doing it my whole life. I was creating videos and photos for 10 years, but just for fun. Like ideally, I'd wanted it to blow up, but I just was not the best.
Right.
And there was no platform that was forgiving enough to like give people a chance. And then TikTok popped up, and it was like, okay, which is why I'm a proponent, and I'm like in their commercials, and I'm in the front page all the time. Like I'm really entrenched with TikTok. And Snapchat too. You'll see some stuff coming out May 20th for sure.
You have your own Snapchat show now?
I have 3.
3?
Yeah, 3.
Why not? Wait, how'd you go from 0 to 3? Not 1, not 2. Why 3? Why off the bat 3?
So the story involves Gary Vee.
Really?
Yeah. So
He knows you?
I've met him a few times on like through Zoom.
Oh, okay.
And so we had like a one-on-one and stuff.
I remember.
So back in January, I hit up Snapchat, and I emailed 75 employees at the company to try and get a show.
Whoa.
And
really?
Yeah, and this
all individual emails.
LinkedIn's. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the CMO replied, and he was like, "Hey, here's I think it was the CMO. Yeah. The CMO replied and was like, "Here's this girl. She works in this field. Reach out to her." And ideally, actually, anyone can reach out to these people. I just didn't know who the right person was. So I reached out to her and I'm like, "Hey, I want a show." And then she's like, "Okay, like give us like a pitch, blah blah blah." I did. And then they kind of BS'd me and were like, "Okay, it takes like 4 or 5 months to review." I talk to people now and they're like, that was a lie, which kind of bummed me out that they like kind of lied to me. But I think they didn't know me. I was at like 2 million at the time. So I figured like I kind of deserved it. Like, I'm not saying give it to me, but it was like my content warranted it. It was like, I'm doing good view wise. So it's not like I'm saying, give me a show and I'm getting 2,000 views. Like, I'm like, hey, my stuff's going viral. It went viral on Twitter, went viral on Instagram. It's going viral on every platform. Like, I'd love to get a Snapchat show. And they just kind of turned me down. So then I was like, well, next thing, could you at least verify me? And it took a couple months, and then they eventually verified me. In that time, Gary Vee had this TikTok-a-thon where you can donate.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, if you donate $1,000, you'll get a Zoom meeting with me.
What? Just 1,000?
Yeah.
What the?
But he didn't say this, which really did bum me out. So it was Gary, if you watch this, it was kind of messed up what he did.
Okay.
He didn't clarify that it would be a
group Zoom meeting,
which is so different.
This guy Gary,
and I get it though, because I think he also probably didn't expect it. It was like 150 something people.
Sure.
Like you physically, like 15 minutes each. If I don't even know what the math on that is, but it's probably like days of time.
Yeah.
So I get it. So I didn't blame him. It was more just like, what the heck?
So each person had like a little time to ask him a question.
You had like 5 seconds, but he did let people rant. He ended up he like his team was like, you basically have like a couple seconds, like make it like 30 seconds. He'll answer it. Gary just ranted on the whole time, and we barely got through like 6 people per meeting, and then it got to the point where, which I'll explain anyway. So he had the TikTok-a-thon, and then he said, "Hey, if you donate $1,000, you get a meeting with me." I'm like, you know what? He's an investor in Snapchat. He clearly knows people at Snapchat.
He does,
and I know he's a very nice guy with favors, and I would like if I donate, maybe he'll grant me the favor of connecting me and giving me a little bit more of a push. And so I donated 1,000, and then he was like, if you donate 5,500,
okay,
you'll get dinner with me. And I was, and I like told my girlfriend, I'm like, dude, we should do it. That would guarantee me the show. And like getting $5,000 from the show is easy. Like Snapchat, you'll make way more than that. And we only had $10,000 in the bank at the time.
Okay.
And she's like, no, I will kill you. And I was like, for sure. And then I went into the other room, and then I put in my credit card, and then I dropped $5,500
on the TikTok live. What was his reaction?
He was like, "Oh my!" Like, it was only 2 of us who did it, so he was like, "Oh my god!" Like that's so, like, thank you, blah blah blah. He's like, Dominic, and what's funny is he had actually DM'd me a couple days before the live, and I think it was about, remember when everyone was making teams on TikTok?
Oh, the blue
and
team?
Was blue team, whatever.
Or was it the Lego
and then
Star
he was
Wars?
he was doing the Green Bay or whatever football team he liked,
Jets.
the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't know sports.
Green Bay? Yeah.
Green Bay.
Jets.
I just remember it was green.
Green, yeah.
So he was like, yeah, the Jets. I forgot. He's like a big Jets guy. New York. So he was like, oh, like Jets. But so he DM'd me, and then I like replied, and he just never responded. And then like replied like once or 2 more times, never responded. So I'm like, okay, I get it. He's probably adding hundreds of people, hundreds of DMs.
Yeah.
So then he had the live. He had my friends on the live, and I wanted to be on it. So I was like, damn, this is bullshit. So I donated $7,500 that live. And
wait, what isn't it? Wasn't it 55?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to get attention. I was like, it's a good cause. And then like, also maybe it'll be like, look, I'm donating a lot. I'd really love to like get a show. Like I'm willing to do a lot for it. I'm like donating $7,500. I have $10,000 in the bank. Like I'm donating 75% of my entire bank
net worth, yeah.
Net worth. And he took 6 months to have the first meeting. And I was like, dude, like this was back in like, I don't know, I think let's say February. I don't remember exactly when this whole thing went down. And then it took all the way till like, I guess it was like during COVID. So this was probably like March, April, probably like April, May. And then it took all the way till like literally till like September, a couple months to have the first meeting. When I get there, I'm like, okay, this is it. And they were like, hey, by the way, we're not gonna have dinner because of COVID for now. But you can join the $1,000 meeting, which I'm like, of course, I donated for the $1,000 meeting, so I'll join it and I'll get dinner. I joined it expecting there'll be like a couple of us, and it was like 100 of us. He went through like 6 people. It was an hour and a half long. He's like, all right, guys, I'm really sorry we didn't get through everyone. We'll have another meeting. Took another couple months, had the meeting, and then he was like, will be the last one, so we have to finish everyone. Made no sense. There were 70 people left. And he was like, we have an hour and a half. I'm like, physically, it's impossible. I don't think you, and that's without him answering. I'm like, you guys, I don't think you did the math there.
Yeah.
So he basically was like, all right, guys, he's getting to the end. I still haven't been called on because I just wanted to ask, hey, Gary, can you help me get a show? And he was like, all right, guys, we're going to end it here. I don't have any more time with this, but what you'll do is if you want, you can ask a question via video and I'll respond to it and post you and my response on my Twitter and shout you out. Nice. And everyone was like, oh my God, I want that. And I was like, I don't care that you're Gary Vee. Like, you're really dope. Like, of course, we can all learn from each other. But like, I'd really love to be able to actually just connect with you and talk with you. I don't care about getting shouted out. Like, I'm not saying I don't care about him. I was like, I don't care about a shout out. That's not why I'm here. And so I was like, he's like, all right, we have time for one more. And I was like, you better pick me. I was like, just pick me.
Raising your hand on Zoom?
Yeah, I was just like, just pick me.
So
no one wanted to be picked because at that point they're like, I want to be shouted out by Gary Vee. And I was like, I don't care about being shouted out. I want to connect. I want to close this deal. This is my dream. And so I literally was the last person. And I was like, hey, man, all I want is I don't even want dinner with you. Let's just do a 10-minute Zoom call. I'll scrap the dinner. And I just want to get a show. And he's like, done. And then I didn't have that Zoom call with him for a couple weeks. And then I did. And he literally is like, he's very, I don't know, you've worked with him.
Yeah.
He's very like ADD, which is why he can do so many things at once.
Yeah.
Because he was like the whole time, he was just literally not looking at me, and he was just like looking around the whole time while I'm speaking. And I was kind of like, I get it. Like I work in mental health, like, and it's not an issue. It's just some people are like that. And that's why he's so good at what he does. He's able to balance a million things at once.
Yeah.
And I could see his brain just like, okay, hurry up, tell me what you need, and like we'll do it. Still a very nice guy. So I was like, I want to show. He's like, cool, let me email the guy. They emailed the people, but I never heard back. And nothing ever really happened from it. And then when I got verified, which by the way, this pissed me off the most, which is just funny. I got verified the day before I met with him.
Oh, wow.
So like, I was going to be like, I'm going to ask him for verification. Like, see if he can help me with that. And literally get verified on my own the day before.
Nice.
So I was like,
nice.
All right, well, that's kind of a waste. Have the meeting with him, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm going to email them. Nothing happened. It's a couple weeks go by. They told me, hey, you should start posting on this new thing called Spotlight.
Snapchat told you that?
Yeah. Because when I got verified, we have like a meeting. And they're like, this new thing called Spotlight, you can earn money. I'm like, oh, okay, I can earn money on TikTok too. And I've made like a couple $1,000s in 5 months. So like doubtful. So I was like, whatever. Yeah, cool. Whatever. And then they're like, yeah, post. So I like posted like, I don't know, like 20, 30 videos. And then I was like, cool. And they were like 500K, 800K views, 1 million views, 900K, like a bunch. Little did I know that week from those videos, I made $289,000 from that week.
Dang.
My friend made 1.5 million from that week.
What? Who's your friend?
I don't know. We don't talk to him anymore.
Okay.
Because he didn't tell anyone else about it.
Oh, wow.
He kept it to himself and purposely.
It's not Cam Casey?
It's Cam Casey.
It's Cam Casey. Okay, sorry
Cam
about
Casey.
that.
I don't know. I don't care. And like, this is the first time we've talked about it, but like, no one really talks to him anymore from our group. And this is the first time he's probably going to hear of it if he sees this, is because, and Cam, like literally it's because he knew he won, was going to people's houses, hanging out with people, talking to people, and not telling them. Meanwhile, raking in cash for himself.
Right.
When I started to win, the first thing I did, and I have it all cataloged, is I called 29 people. 27 of them had now won over a couple 100,000 each because of that call.
You shared it.
27 of them. And a couple of them that I called, I had gotten like, I did a brand deal for them and they took the money and ran. And I was like, hey man, it's okay. I think you need it. So it's cool. And I still called them and told them, hey, and the guy bought a house with the money that he was trying for his wife. So like, I immediately was like, let's help people. This is sick.
Sure.
And Cam literally was like, I'm not going to tell anyone about this. And his roommate, same thing. And they texted me. I have the text message from them saying, hey man, congrats on winning the money, but maybe you shouldn't be talking about it.
I could see that. And what's weird is that like, okay, so I listened to the David Dobrik, Cam Casey thing, right? And even they were like, wait, like, are you allowed to talk about this? Or is this like insider Snapchat NDA thing that, you know, you shouldn't be, isn't public, right? And even David didn't know about it until Cam Casey told him. And then David made $100,000 from Spotlight, right?
Yeah, he's at a couple 100,000 now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see that. Especially, dude, if you think about it, like you didn't post on social media right away about that, did you?
Well, I didn't post on social media because I was like, I'm posting to followers makes no sense. I called every influencer I knew. Like
your friend influencers group.
Yeah, because one, I mean, I even posted about it now
great.
and it doesn't even go anywhere. People don't like care.
And matter of fact, I saw your video about it and people think you're lying.
Oh, they all think I'm lying.
People think, bro, this is cap. Like there's no way Snapchat.
Yeah, that's why I didn't post about it because I'm like, that's different. But I called and I have it all video. I have all of them on video. Immediately telling them. And every single one of them have earned money. And I guarantee they would have all earned at least less than half of what they did, if not any money, because I wouldn't have told them if I didn't. And yeah, Cam and them, their mindset was don't tell anyone because it is true. The more people I told, the less money I won. That is true.
Well, yeah, because there wasn't.
First, I would have been racking up me, Cam. There's another guy named Joey, and there's like 3 or 4 more of us that were like posting consistently at this point that were raking in the money. Lance, 210, and like a bunch of other people were all raking in the money. And I was like, okay, well, I'd rather all my friends make money too, because like this is sick, and I want everyone to make money.
That shows a lot, dude.
Because they like literally they would not tell anyone. They were like, and I get it. Again, I probably lost 50% of the money I would have earned if I just didn't tell people.
Wow.
And so I would have won like 1.5 million, if not more, because my videos were dominating. But I would have friends be like, "Oh, my video outperformed your video," so then they would take my spot as number one, and they would win more money.
Sure. So, question: Why was this such a big deal with the Snapchat spotlight? Holy crap, how much money was made, how much, people made from this just by posting these vertical videos. But why doesn't anyone know about this? Surprisingly, in this ecosystem, like not that many people know about what happened with Spotlight. So did Snapchat only reach out to influencers, like verified people? Because I think I saw an article or something that said like Snapchat's giving away $1 million.
Yeah, I was in the article.
You were?
Yeah. Me, Cam, Joey, what's her name? Katie Feeney, and I think one more girl were in that article. It's from New York Times with Taylor Lawrence.
Okay.
And yeah, that was like their first thing when I won. I have it on the call. I have it recorded. Whether the girl was like, "Hey, we want to post it on the news. Are you okay with disclosing how much you earn?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." And then I did the whole interview, and then they promoted it. So that was their way of promoting it, by being like, hey, we're showcasing it. But if anyone would have posted that first 2 weeks, no matter who you were, you would have won money.
Wow.
And you would have won hundreds of thousands.
Wow.
Because no one was posting.
Wow. And you knew right away, right when they
I didn't know till the second week.
And
you
Cam
know what's
knew
crazy?
right away.
Cam knew right away. I think someone had told him. And you know what's actually crazy? I have a Discord group that I'm in that's also influencers. A friend of mine named Dominic actually, I think, put it together. He invited me. I don't really use Discord, so I never go on it. But then after a couple of weeks, I went on it to tell everyone about it. And Dom, the alter ego me, posted about it before and said, did anyone hear about this in 2 weeks? He knew before anyone. And he also didn't post because I think we all figured, oh, cool, they're giving away money. It's like TikTok. One, it doesn't mean, first one there wins money. We didn't know that. No one knew that. So he had posted it. So all the influencers who read that message knew about it. We all thought it was like, okay, cool, they're going to pay you. Congrats. So the Triller can pay you. This company can pay you. It doesn't mean anything until you actually understand how much are they paying me? Am I actually getting paid? Like majority of people, 99.9% of people do not make enough from TikTok's like view per like whatever, the monetized views to even do anything with.
Right.
So like for us, it was like, okay, cool. I've made only $6,000 total from the creator fund.
Wow.
Now, granted, I have friends who even live here.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Dude, you have like almost 1 billion views, no?
Yeah, but the day it came out, I was like literally the week I stopped posting much. So like I was doing 200 million views a month, and then that literally right when it came out, I kind of dwindled down my content significantly, and it was sucked because I would have been making, I calculated around like, I think anywhere from like 5,000 to 15,000 a month from it.
Dude, that's so solid.
And I just completely stopped at that point, and I was like, "This is the worst time to stop." And now it's like hard for me to like boost it back up because I was doing videos at like 25 million weekly,
right.
And now just like I didn't. So yeah, so everyone knew about it kind of, but again, it's one of those things that I promise you right now, if I were to tell people, "Hey, first one here," granted I'm a social media influencer, they'll believe it a little more. But if I say like first one here, I'm going to be giving away $1,000, people aren't going to believe it. Like.
Yeah,
they don't believe. Dude, you saw it. They don't believe that I even won the money. I posted the screenshot. They're like, no.
The top comment is like, "Bro, people who believe this clown," something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
and I'm sitting here in my house
yeah,
that I bought from Snapchat from 1 month.
Right. Wow. So you made $1 million on Snapchat Spotlight, but here's the issue. What is wrong with Snapchat? Because why didn't everyone know? Why didn't this like go through everyone's Snapchat like notification, right? Team Snapchat. Why didn't they send a message to everyone? Because like their purpose, like if you think about Snapchat's incentive,
it's beta. It's in the beta. Think about it this way.
So okay.
Has Snapchat ever had to review a video before?
No, not that.
Do you know how much work that takes to review millions? Imagine if they sent it out to everyone, their system would crash.
But
bro,
why?
I wasn't able to post 99% of my videos for the first 3 weeks.
Why?
Every one of them would get banned. Their system
on
didn't,
Snapchat?
Yeah, their system did on the Spotlight. Their system didn't know. Their system was new. That's why they were like, keep it hush hush. We're not trying to tell people. It's
they
a soft
told
opening.
You keep it hush hush.
No, but it was a soft opening. It was very obvious that like, yeah, granted, if it blows up on its own, they're not going to stop it. But they're also not going to put marketing dollars behind it. For example, if you have a soft opening and 10 million people show up, yeah, you're going to be like, I'll try and serve you guys. But you're not going to go out there and pay money to market it. So there's their soft opening. They're still in their soft opening because we still get like videos taken down where they shouldn't be. They just started adding music when they didn't have that in the beginning. Like there was a lot of issues. So they're just starting out. I get it. They're basically having to start from scratch. They've never had what I call an outward facing social media. It was always inward facing, interpersonal.
Right.
So this is the first time it's like, because TikTok's not a social media at all. I don't know why people call it that.
What is it?
It's an entertainment platform. Who are you socializing with? Random people? Out of curiosity, think about it. If Fox News had a comment section under videos, is it a social media?
No.
No, it's a news site. Yeah, you can be social with each other, but damn, you can be social on anywhere. Like anyone can be social on anything.
Well, then,
but the whole point is to socialize with people, and that's the point.
Oh,
you're not there to socialize
yeah,
with people on
you're not.
TikTok.
You're
You're there
not.
to be entertained, and yeah, you comment with people, but no one's going there to be like, I'm just gonna get on TikTok today and talk with some people. No one does that.
Right. Yeah.
It is an
that's
entertainment
interesting-
platform. Snapchat is the only social media, and so is Twitter. Right? They're there for conversation.
Right.
Granted, Twitter's a little different because it's kind of like a news website as well, but it's like a mix. But TikTok, it's not a social media. I get it. Like by the general term, it's a social media, but like theoretically, it's not. You're not there to socialize. I do not wake up every morning to say, I want to talk to some people.
Yeah, I don't even go. I rarely go on the following section.
That's why Messenger is its own app. That's social media. You're socializing. That's
Sure,
the
okay.
purpose of it.
Okay.
So this was Snapchat's first entertainment platform. So they were like, well, I don't know how to verify these things. I don't know how to manage 100 million videos being uploaded per day, like whatever it is. So they were probably just like, just like we're giving away money, but join and stuff. So
Okay.
they were paying a lot. They and they still are till today. Still goes on.
Really?
Yeah, still goes on right now.
For anyone?
For anyone. I just won, like I said, just won 5,000. I found out last night. I won 5,000.
the
It was for like one video. Right now, it's more of a gamble, I'll say. It's kind of like you post the video up there, and trust me, it doesn't need to be good. Like, really doesn't. My last video that won $100,000, I promise you, a gorilla could have probably sat on an iPhone, and I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not even being like joking. Like, legit. It could have been shot on accident. It was that bad. I was showing my friend how stupid of videos you could post on Snapchat and win money, and that exact video won me $125,000.
Wow.
And that was the most I've ever won from one video, which was kind of ironic.
That's hilarious. What's so crazy too is like, okay, you, Cam Casey, right? Millions and millions of dollars. Bro, I have not seen one spotlight. Right? I went on Spotlight and I was like, what is this? Like, what is going on here? It's pretty much just recycled TikToks, right?
Yeah.
And then I had to go to your page.
Yeah.
And I had to go under your highlights. So it's not even called spotlights on your verified
Oh, yeah, you
account.
can't see each other's spotlights.
What the heck?
It's an entertainment platform,
Sure.
not
So
a social media.
Here's another funny thing I saw. So you would think, holy crap, this guy made $1 million on Snapchat. He knows the ins and out of Snap. My guy Dominic has a 66 Snap score. 66. This dude doesn't use Snapchat. He doesn't use it like you would think, right?
I don't use social media to socialize. Never.
You use it to
Entertain.
Okay. Not to be entertained?
I mean, yeah, but I'm not there to socialize. So Snapchat, social media. I don't use social media. Like I do not use social media. Instagram, the only reason why I posted back then is because I wanted to post my photos and I wanted to gain a following and create a career out of it, make some money, entertain people. But I don't care to socialize. I don't care to see updates from my friends. Like the friends that I know, I talk with on the phone. I don't need to see photo updates. I've never posted on my Facebook in like years. I never put like I have the reason why I am not bigger on social media is because nobody knows anything about me because I don't care. I'm not private. I will tell anyone anything. I'll tell you how much I make. I'll tell you what I pay on my taxes. I will tell you every disease I've ever had. I don't care. I just I don't think of myself as like, people need to know that I had a Diet Coke today. Like, why? I don't understand.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
I'm marrying my girlfriend's like, dude, we're doing construction on the house. Like, you need to like update people. I'm like, who cares? Why do people care what I'm like? I'll do it because I want views in terms of monetization.
Sure. Well, so from a growth perspective, like just
I should do it.
Yeah,
I'm stupid for doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I don't care to socialize.
So I wish I had that because my biggest issue, but it's also a blessing at the same time, is I'm in the biggest paradox between what is entertainment while I'm on these social platforms, what is entertainment, and what is I'm consuming trends and I'm consuming zeitgeist of marketing and like, so basically I would not have gone to the Jake Paul fight, right, if I wasn't scrolling on social media and seeing that that's what was going on and seeing Warren, right, his Snapchat story, oh, we're going to the Jake Paul fight, and me swiping up and saying, yo, like, how could I come? And boom, he invites me, right? So it's like this paradox between entertainment and consumption of like marketing trends. You could content ideas, right? So like how do you find the balance between entertainment and consuming and learning these platforms? Because you can't. I feel like you can't post a TikTok. I mean, you can
without watching TikToks.
Yeah, but you already kind of did. Well, no, because the Slave to My Do Not Lie, that one you watched that first and then you made a video about it.
No,
right?
of course. If you watch, I mean, like, quoting Gary here, and I hate doing that, but like he said, he's like, dude, go watch a couple hours first, right? These are for people who don't understand it or are not getting a lot of views. If you're not getting a lot of views, then clearly you're not doing something right. So watch what is doing well,
right,
and then do it. Like, you know, the like I said, I've done a lot of trends, and then eventually I just found myself and I was like, I'm just gonna do science stuff because honestly, I'm not a trendy guy. I'm an overweight 28-year-old Arab dude. The fuck, like that doesn't help me for social media at all. I'm not genetically funny, as I call it. I don't look a certain way that like deems like this guy's about to say something funny. Like none of that. So I have to create my own thing, and like again, my capitalization is the only reason why I am where I am. I wouldn't be any other way. The reason why I am where I am is because I manage several creators and I make some money on the side. The reason why I am is because I'm on 20 different platforms and I email 100 different employees weekly just to get a basic deal that it would take an Alex Warren batting an eye on it just to get it, because he's just so good at his content that people come running to him. I have to like force people to give me deals because I know that in any other capacity, they're not going to just run to me. I have to explain to them and show them and push myself and say, look, I promise like I could do this. And I've had to do that my entire social media career, which is like, you know, it's only a year now in this type of thing. I've been doing it for 10 years though. But in the financial part of it where I started making money, I've had to shove my way onto every platform. I've had to email employees. They've never reached out to me. I had to push my way to everything. And you know, I've had some really cool like reps along the way. I have one of the best TikTok reps right now. And, we've just become like kind of good friends from just like, you know, working together. And she's just absolutely amazing. Hardest working person I know. And I've got to the point where like, I've added so much value to them. Like we just did the Arab monthly heritage thing, and I went to the front page of TikTok, and they were like, "Hey, like you're Middle Eastern, you're a big creator. I'd love to get some insight." And I like wrote a damn essay, like, "Hey, here are the pros and the cons for these types of words. Here's the implications for this type of thing. Here's the types of things like from an unbiased perspective, from a non-religious perspective. Here are the different reactions you might get." And I like wrote it all out. So I always try and add value as much as I can. Giving insight. So like I've done interviews with Instagram on their new updates. They're like, "Hey, we want to do a private thing and talk with you and get some insight on what you like and what you don't." So I've done it with all the social medias, and I try and create value. My value isn't my content is so beautiful that any platform it touches it explodes, which it does. It does do what really well, but I'm not like an Alex Warren. I'm not, massive, but I just add value as much as I can. And so I've been having to push my way through it. Like I said, I'm with an agency right now, and I would be like, "Hey, I'd like to get verified on Twitch." And they're very by the book. "All right, well, you need to create value through your content. Go on Twitch, create a following, then they'll do it." I'm like, "Well, that's not good enough for me." Emailed, I think that one I emailed 42 employees at Twitch. Got I think the CMO as well. I have that too. I have all of these to prove all this. And I was like, "Hey, I want to get verified." And he's like, "Here's this guy. He's going to verify you. Let's get you taken care of." Got verified in one day. Before I even went live. And I was like, this is stupid. Like, everyone is so by the book, and I can't work like that.
That's like a whole different perspective on social media that I haven't even thought of. You're literally like, hey, well, because like from TikTok's perspective, you really do provide value to TikTok, not just in the content, but because you're a 20-year-old Arab guy, you're giving diversification into the platform. So like in that sense, like TikTok would love to like show that they push this type of content and they like support, diversification within their platform. So you being like on the home screen at Dominic, Arab, what was it? Arab Heritage? What was it?
Arab Heritage Month, yeah.
Yeah. Like that's super awesome for TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a win-win for you. That opened a whole new perspective on social media, is reaching out to these platforms and sharing why your content is valuable to the platform and why, they should verify you and like, in a sense, like invest partial of their time and resources into pushing you and making you a better content creator. Dude, that's fantastic. So I guess what's next? You just bought this house with $1 million on Snap. What's next for Dominic, the brand that you've created?
My dream, if I were to be like, oh, I could pick it, it would be to take the money that I'm making, continue this. I have 3 shows on Snapchat that I had to fight for.
You did.
Yeah. Did I tell you how I got those shows? We started that conversation with, I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
I wanted a show from Snapchat. I had just won a ton of money from Spotlight, and I'm livid at this point. Like, how am I? And again, I'm not trying to be a princess here. I don't even want to say princess. That's the wrong term. I don't want to be a diva and say, give me a show. But I was like, look, let me be honest here. I'm verified. Within the first week of me being verified, I jumped 100,000 subscribers. So the 100K I have, I like barely post. I had posted in the first month and I kind of got over it. I grew. My videos, my snaps were doing 1 million opens on the front page. So I was like, okay, my content's dope. Spotlight. I won money. I go, let me get this straight. I'm on the front page for my content. Passing up your shows, I'm on the front page. And I'm getting more views than your shows. Most of your shows.
Oh, come on now.
And I have Spotlight winnings. And I'm one of your top creators. I don't have a show. We'll talk about it in a couple months. Not good enough. Went on some Clubhouse, opened up a group chat. Or I went into a group chat. They had a bunch of Snapchat employees talking.
Really?
And then I started to hear that they were ending. And I was like, Mary, my girlfriend, I'm like, open up a room right now called Snapchat. Do it right now. Some of them follow me. They're going to see that and they're going to follow. They're going to get in the room. So we open it.
That's
We open the room immediately. They all hop in and I just start like, Snapchat's so beautiful, which it is, by the way. I'm not even like, I wasn't bullshitting. It's a really good platform. It's obviously changed my life. So I didn't need to like lie, which made it easy. So I was like, oh, whatever, blah, blah. They started joining and I would text my girlfriend, say this right now. Say this right now. Repeat this exact word. Say it to me. Ask me right now what I want to do in the next 30 days. And then I'd be like, oh, great question. I'd like to do a Snapchat show because, and I gave it. One of the guys followed me, DM'd him, started chatting with him. Within 24 hours, I had a show.
Wait, okay. So, was it like one person followed you from Snapchat or they followed Mary?
Every time I would talk, they would hop in and hear me. And they would like text, like I would have my rep be like, oh, by the way, everyone in Snapchat loves what you're saying. Because I know what I'm talking about. I've been consuming social media for 10 years and I have multiple degrees in like psychology background. Like I know this stuff really well. And I was like, cool, they keep complimenting me, but they're not giving me like something for my they're not compensating me for where I should be. I'm doing amazing work for them. I pushed single-handedly. I guarantee if someone went and asked people, how did you know about Spotlight? It would almost 90% of the creators who won would come back to me. Not to say that I directly, but like the ones I told then went and told, like it all started from me. I was literally the only creator at the time talking about it. The only one.
Who shared it, yeah.
Who shared it. The only one. And I have the video of everyone on live camera. I filmed them. The day I won, the minute I won, I called them all. I have it all recorded.
I'm sure there's going to be a cool piece of content.
I called everyone. And all of them have won. All of them. Some of them have won up to $500,000.
Wow, dude. That's life-changing.
So I literally had to force my way and was like, I'm going to fucking get the show one way or another. And I was able to, mind you, the typical path to a show is like go through the line of, whatever, the corporate line of like, you ask this person, then they ask this person, then they ask this person. And I was like, no. Because I keep getting denied. Someone in that chain is not seeing it, not liking me, whatever the reason, I need to go around it. And so my agency's like, well, no, you just got to get, I'm like, no. It's not how that works. Like I will figure out another way. I'm not going to go through this bullshit where I have to go down this like specific path and do some, I don't like, ironically, I don't like culture. Like generally it's because I don't like the idea of like subscribing to one typical thing that you do. Like, no, like I always just do things differently no matter what. And so I kind of detach myself from this idea of like culture, rules, structure, there's the basic ones, don't do horrible things, but like,
sure.
And that's down to the human condition. But for me, I'm like, no, like I'm not going to follow these rules. I don't like following rules like that. So I DM'd everything. I followed all of them. I got them in the room. I started chatting it up. I want a show, started buttering everyone up. Me like, look, guys, like I'm really good. Like, oh my God, great question, Mary. Yeah, I'd love to do a Snapchat show. So I was like pushing it. And then I got connected with this guy. And thank you. His name, I don't want to say his name just because I don't want people to bother him. But he basically was just like, yo, man, he believed in what I had said. He probably heard me because he was in the rooms and probably was like, this guy has it. And I proved myself. And then he was like, yeah, man, let me email them, blah, blah, blah. Literally within 24 hours. It's like, hey, man, I have a meeting with you. And then they hit me up like, hey, we want to set up a meeting. Like next week, 2 weeks. I'm like, no, I'm available right now. They were like, oh, that's pretty quick. I'm like, yeah, let's do it right now. Had the meeting. And then they're like, well, I just heard about you like 10 minutes ago, which kind of bothered me because I was like, wait, I've been pitching you guys shows for a year straight and you're just hearing about me. Mind you, he goes, we really need education. I was like, damn, only if I applied a year ago. I was like so angry. I was like, are you kidding me? So they didn't even hear about me, meaning someone in that chain just didn't want to say. And that's the reality. It's not a Snapchat thing. It's every company. There are people who aren't going to believe in you, or the people are going to be like, nah, never mind. Maybe they got annoyed of my emails, whatever it is. So I was like, well, you enjoy what you want. And everyone kept telling me, bro, take it easy, stop annoying. I'm like, no. And I went around and I got that show. And then I was like, I want another show. And my girlfriend's like, dude, you're just taking it, like, slow it down, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. Pitched it. I was like, I want this show. I'll prove to you. Got the second show. Then I was like, dope. I was like, hey, I want another show. And then they're like, all right, cool. Like, what is it? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's this. And it's going to do really well. Please, like, well, I'm not like aggressive like that. I'm like, I promise you, I'm blah, blah. Like, I really bow down to them because I'm like trying to show like, hey, I'm humble. Like, I really do care. And I'm not here to be like, I'm the best. Like, I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to do it. And they gave me the second show. And then I got another show for my friend. And then I'm on track to do another show for another friend. So I make money from those 2 shows as well.
Wow.
So right now I have 3 Snapchat shows.
And they're not.
That's the story how I got my Snapchat shows.
Through Clubhouse, basically.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even Gary.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Gary. And that was the whole point of the story. And we kind of get sidetracked. There's a lot to this life that I'm having. Was like, I dropped $7,500, which I don't regret, whatever. It was a part of the path. And it went to, I think it was Meals on Wheels. So I'm like pretty pumped about that.
Right.
And I'm going to show you the email too. This will be live so you can see it.
Cool.
And so I will show you the email. And so I donated that money. And yeah, it didn't even matter. Oh yeah, so it was $526. So you can verify for the camera. The first donation was how much?
222.
Okay. Next donation was
333.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, where is it?
So about over 500 in total right now.
500. How much is that?
$5,000.
$5,000.
This is straight to TikTok, right? Like while you're on that live,
yeah.
Gary V live.
Yeah. How much is that?
555. Oh my goodness, dude.
It was a $20 one.
There goes your whole net worth.
$100.
$100.
$111.
111. Okay.
I was just like spamming it.
222. Okay. 333. Another one.
And
1,000. Is that all?
yeah, I think that's all.
So, what I think that did for you was like, it kind of reinforced how determined you were to get this Snapchat show.
Yeah.
And that's so cool that like, it almost sounded like you knew it was going to be a good deal for Snapchat. You knew it'd make sense for Snapchat, and sure enough, it did. Right? Like otherwise, the show wouldn't be happening. So these 3 shows, they're not like seasons. They're all 3 shows that are going to be airing at the same time.
They all air. They're already up right now.
They are?
Yeah. I have them all right now. Here, I'll show you.
What is it called? How do I find it?
So the first one I have is called Dominic Reviews. Just launched it yesterday.
That's why you started a whole separate YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you like why start a separate YouTube channel? Like just
because the reason is if your following isn't into reviews and then the algorithm says, all right, new video, let's show it to the subscribers, and they don't like it, then the algorithm will say, damn, your subscribers don't like it, then no one will like it, and they kill the video.
Okay, well, how about this? So with the 100,000 subs you have, 130, you're monetized, right?
Yeah.
So with this new YouTube channel, you're not monetized, right?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So from looking at it from YouTube's perspective, I feel like they would have more incentive to push the monetized video versus the video that's literally just taking space on their platform and not creating any revenue for YouTube. So like, and as someone who pivots, why not the same pivot on YouTube?
So because TikTok's algorithm is built to find your following, YouTube's algorithm is built so you go find the following. So like, meaning TikTok will say, oh, this doesn't work with this, we'll find you a new group. YouTube's very limited space. And the reason is you can only consume 5 to 10 YouTube videos a day, max. Like, dude, they're like on average, like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Way too much. It's like an hour long.
Yeah.
And TikTok, there's more real estate. I can watch probably well over 500 TikToks in a day, no problem. Meaning The algorithm's not like, oh, we've got limited space. We're not going to show your video. It's like, no, we've got enough space. Let's show it to people.
Sure.
YouTube can't. YouTube's like, listen, bro, your video's probably good, but we don't want to take the risk of showing it to people because on a person's platform, they're picking 5 videos a day. And to push your video that we don't know does well is just going to lose us tons of money. And so
it's like you took like a step back to take 2 steps forward, because once you have a Dominic Reviews channel, that's the whole dedication.
It's easy because
that's going to be a
and
massive
remember
career
what's going to happen is that's my dream.
Yeah.
Aside from the next thing we'll talk about, which was the future, we'll get into that real quick. Which was basically my thought is like, look, there's 130,000 subscribers sitting on my channel. They are not into reviews, and every time I'm going to post, no matter what, they're going to say, I'm not into this. Skip. And the algorithm is going to be like, dude, every time we show your subscribers your videos, they pass it and they subscribe to you. So then the algorithm is going to say this video must be horrible.
Right. Okay.
I posted 2 of them. They're at 500 views. 500.
Oh, so you've tested this?
Yeah, I've tested it. I know.
God
Yeah, I'm not
tested
stupid.
this.
I'm not stupid. Yeah.
I thought you were just like, nah, I'm not gonna post
No,
it.
I know. And because of course, if it did well, great.
Well, I love that. Then there you go. Yeah, you could have just I tested it.
Yeah. So here's the first one called Dominic Reviews. Just launched it. I did the AirTag review. The next one is called What the Science. I'm on episode 14. And then the next one is called The Lab, which is basically the same thing as What the Science. I've tried different things so far. I made one of the lab episodes like a vlog where we did science, and it didn't do that well. So I was like, okay, pivot, let's go back to just compilations. So I have 2 compilation shows of science. What the Science is mostly going to be my science videos, and then the lab is going to be a compilation of dope science creators from TikTok. And I basically like, hey, can I use your videos? And they're like, yeah, and they're very nice.
What is their incentive? They just
they get tagged.
Expand their
they get tagged. It sucks. I know I was in that position where people would hit me up, but it's like, one, you got to earn your way to that point where I'm at, not to say that like I deserve it and they don't, but it's like, it takes time, it takes hard work to get to that point, and then they'll be able to monetize onto other platforms. But if they're not in the meantime, why wouldn't they, right? Like the odds of, let's just say, that person getting a show would probably be pretty hard, right? Look how long it took me. So in the meantime, why wouldn't you want to at least get your content out there? If anything, this last video I just posted of this other guy, his name's Cool Chemistry Guy. Check him out on TikTok. He's like my #1 competitor, but like it's dope. I love his stuff. He's funny. He's Israeli. I'm Palestinian. He's really dope. He's got really dope stuff. And so I was like, well, let me post your videos and I'll tag you. And like I tag him and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting him a lot of exposure. The last video did 3 million unique views. So like that's 3 million people that see him. That's a lot. Yeah. Now when they go on TikTok, they're far more likely to follow him because if they liked it on Snapchat, they're going to follow him. So I'm growing him. So like, yeah, he's not getting the monetizable incentive. But to be honest, I used to think like those things don't matter, but they actually do. And I'm making the full episodes all him because I was like, you know what? I don't really want it to jump between people. I want like a dedicated episode for this guy.
And they give you that creative freedom?
He doesn't care. He's like, just use my videos, tag me.
Snapchat.
Oh, yeah. I can do whatever I want.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I've like talked to them and I was like, hey, and they're like, just do what you want. We trust you. I'm like, dope. I just do whatever I want.
What the heck? That's fantastic.
They told me like, hey, any show you want, just let me know.
And how many views are these getting?
It ranges, dude. Like my last episode for What the Science, I tried, like I always do. I love trying new things. I was like, I'm gonna try this just like really cool kind of voiceover, like I don't know if you know who Carl Sagan is, but Carl Sagan kind of voiceover video where I was talking and it would integrate with Carl Sagan. So it was just kind of like, it was basically about Voyager 1, which was launched in, I think, like 1971 or something like that. And it's been out there, and it was like the anniversary of the photo, the pale blue dot. And so I just did like a voiceover, like in 1970, blah, blah, like, and I did a whole thing and it like flopped. It did only like 60,000 views, which is like horrible. Like you should be doing like at least 500,000 for a good episode, at least.
Okay.
And then I did like a science compilation with that guy, and it's at like 2 million, which is just massive.
What was the cover thumbnail for that compilation?
So what's really dope with Snapchat is that you can actually put multiple thumbnails, and it will find the best one for you.
Wow,
it's really dope. So like, and like it's all about thumbnail.
I have seen. I think it was something about like Billie Eilish when she like wore tight clothes, right? And there was like multiple different thumbnails of that one article. I'm like, why is this keep changing on me? Like, what is trying to get me to click this? Like, that is smart actually that Snapchat does that. Like, even if YouTube did that, like that would be smart. Like, pretty much any of these platforms, that's super smart. So How long do these shows last? How long is you going to be doing these shows?
Forever. As long as
Oh, it's a forever deal?
yeah, it's kind of like until like I might assume until the views are just so bad that they cancel me. Which I've asked them, like, am I easily cancelable? And they're like, no, you're good. And so basically, I just do what I want.
So is there a minimum time, like a year?
No. No, so like you could like you said, it's one of those. It's kind of like you can go on TikTok and post all you want. They could ban you, or they could not. And it's kind of like that. Like he basically said, like you got to give us a reason to like cancel you.
So you basically just have you're almost like the equivalent of like you have a TV show, but this is better. Like,
dude, no, Snapchat's my dream. Like I said, I've been working for over a year to get that show. Like it's been over a year now, right? That was back in January. So it's been over a year. I've been working night and day to get that show. Everything I could to get that show. And then I got 3 of them. And like,
wow.
And like, that's like my goal. So right now, okay, so you asked, the question was to get back to it. One, what do I want to do for the future? What's the future of Dominic? So one, obviously Snapchat's cool. It's keeping me toasty and happy. And then I've got TikTok. They help keep me afloat too financially. And so I work with them like on projects pretty much weekly. So then I'm completely satisfied with those. So between TikTok and Snapchat, I'm fully fine.
And you're a TikTok partner, right?
Yeah.
What does that entail, just briefly?
Basically, I can get compensated for posting my science and education videos.
Oh, same as the creator fund?
No, it's not based on views. It's a flat rate.
Wow. Dude, that's so awesome.
So
dude.
yeah, and like they started it much lower, like very low, and now it's like very high.
That's awesome.
It's very nice. And you know what's really dope about TikTok? So anytime I reveal stuff I'm not supposed to, I at least compensate it with like positive affirmations. They pay people a lot, and it doesn't matter your following. They pay me the same as they pay someone with 200K.
Oh, it's just straight views, right?
No, just hey, post this many videos and you get paid this much per month.
Oh, wow.
And it's a lot. And like, I'm very happy because I would like hit up people like, oh, are you in the program? Like, yeah. I'm like, dude, you have like 200K. Like, I'm not like jealous or anything, or like, I'm not like not happy for them. I'm like, it's sick. I'm more just like, dang, you're getting paid what I'm getting paid the same as you. I'm not jealous that I'm not getting paid more. I'm like, damn, that's so sick. You're getting paid that much and you're that small. Like, that's crazy. Like,
congrats. Huh?
Yeah. I'm like, dude, that's so chill. So like, it's really cool. So, positive vibes for fucking TikTok for like being equal and being like, I don't care what your following is, just contribute and you get paid, which is dope.
Dude, that's awesome.
TikTok's definitely paid me a lot of money for like over the past 6 months. Like I've at least gotten like a project or 2 per month aside from this this education fund thing. So,
well, dude,
it's been really good financially, but the future holds is I'm going to float with these until I can get comfortable. I'm trying to open a food franchise to get some diversified income. And then I want to have a podcast and I want to do that forever.
What food franchise?
I don't want to say because it's I'll wait till it's launched.
I think I know it. Is it already exist?
Yeah, but there's not many of them. Like there's literally not many. There's only one in LA. It's very new.
Is there one in Vegas?
No, it just opened.
Okay,
up.
I don't know what it is.
No. This is very small. It started in Orange County.
Okay, cool.
There's only 2 of them in Orange County. They just opened one here, and then that's it. They only have 3.
Okay.
And actually, this one's not even open, so they only have 2.
Okay.
Sorry, 3. They have one in LA, and they're opening one around the corner from my house, which I'm like,
right.
I'm about to get fatter. But I'm gonna open that up. I want to diversify my income. I'm gonna buy some more real estate, do some Airbnbs. I just want to get to the point where I'm making like 30 to 50,000 a month consistent, like forever, where it's like, hey, this is not social media based. Like I could break both my legs, be in bed and still make that money, versus now I'm like, if I don't do my work, I don't get paid.
Right.
And I want to get to that point, and then I want to just have a podcast and then be able to like give away money and then do a podcast every day. That's my.
And so basically it's like all these shows, right? Diversify through, restaurant franchise. And then the end goal is basically reinvest everything into this podcast and have the podcast be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have
everything?
to reinvest it. It would just be my like hobby, like, and then if it blows up, it does well. If not, it's fine. But I just want to do a podcast because like my ideas, I think I'm going to call it Safe Space. I think I kind of wanted to make it a little edgy and be like, hey, we're here to talk about everything that's going on, and it can be a little edgy, but my goal is to be like, this is a safe space. Like we're here to talk and learn.
Hold on though, because TikTok and Snapchat does not like edgy.
Yeah, no, when I mean edgy, it's not going to be like, let's talk about sex. It's going to be like, let's talk about George Floyd. Let's talk about David Dobrik. I just want to talk about like everything that's going on, and then be like, look, I want to be able to talk with influencers openly and have them ask questions because I've been studying a lot of things for a long time. So the podcast will be broken up into three groups, three parts. And they're actually, I think I'm going to publish them all separately. So if I do an interview with someone, they'll be all separate interviews. So it'll be part 1. Let's talk about, let's just say it's you, Josh, and Josh's life. Part 2, let's talk about what me and Josh think about the current, what's it called? Current, there's a word.
State of the Union?
No, like the current events.
Okay.
Current events. And then the third one is let's talk about like existential stuff.
Yo, that is that is like, those are, wow. It's like origin story, zeitgeist, what's going on currently. And then what was the last one?
Existential. Like basically just like let's talk about
deep. Like let's get deep.
Yeah, deep philosophy. Like so I have a degree into philosophy. I do have a degree in that.
Oh, philosophy. Wow, that's
philosophy,
sick.
Religion, political science, sociology, psychology, and international relations. And so like I don't have a degree in all of them. I have pretty much a degree in all of them. I'm missing like 1 or 2 classes off each of them, but like I worked on 2 master's degrees, 2 bachelor's degrees, and 4 AAs. And so like in the bachelor's, like I worked on more than that. I did like history classes. I would just take classes. Like I would just literally, I have like 95 classes under my belt. And I would do Yale open course classes, Harvard open course classes, Death 602 from Yale with Shelby Kagan. Like I know these classes. Like I took these classes too, like online open ones. So I would just take fun stuff. I was trying to apply to Harvard a couple months ago because I was just like, I just want to like take more classes and just have fun. So I want to just do a podcast, like, yo, like let's talk about aliens. I know everything we could talk about. Let's talk about existentialism. Let's talk about it. You want to talk about religion? Let's talk about it. I studied it for years, for 10 years straight. And I've read the Bible back to front. I've read Hindu books. I've read the Quran. I've read pretty much everything. So like I'm a very like I like to just learn. So I'm like, dude, I want to talk.
Okay,
as you can see, I just talked for an hour straight.
So Dominic, I want to be respectful of your time. We're a little bit over an hour here. Dude, this was an amazing podcast or YouTube series. Both. It's actually both. So that's just the last question. What drives and motivates Dominic? Because whatever that is, I want a piece of that. So just and that could be our wrap up question.
Yeah. Curiosity.
Really?
Philosophy. Yeah. I mean, like, how do I know that I'm going to be good at social media? I have to try it. How do I know that I'm gonna like being rich? I'm gonna have to be rich. I've been poor. Now I want to try rich. I've been dumb. Now I want to try smart. I've done psychology. Now I want to try something new. So social media. I just want to try things. And like, yeah, I obviously want to make money, like, because money allows me to try things. The only reason why I'm so obsessed with making money and so obsessed with like, managing people to make more money and capitalize is because I just want to be able to try things, and things cost money. So like ideally I don't care about money. I just have to have it to do the things I want to do. So I'm trying to make a buttload of it so that I can just continue to do that. Ideally, like I said, I just want to go on a podcast and be like, yo, let's talk. I want to be the Joe Rogan that's not so gullible. Like I see him say things and I think he's a good average person, right? He's listening to an expert and being like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, no, I want to push back because ideally that's what you should do because...
Yeah, well, sometimes he pushes back, but like the things he doesn't push back is probably because he's not very educated on it.
Yeah, no, and I get it. And I became educated on so many things that I'm like, I would watch his interviews with experts and I'm like, the expert's wrong. I could prove it by just talking to them. I don't need to be like, you're wrong, I'm smart. It's like,
so you simply just like to see how far you could expand your competence.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
And that's your motivation. That's what.
Yeah, philosophy literally means philos, Sophia, which literally means love of knowledge. So like literally all I care about is just learning more things because learning more things makes life easier in all capacities.
Right.
If you, for example, I've studied medicine for a long time. I took care of my grandfather for like 7 years with Alzheimer's. So I know like a lot about medicine, a lot to the point now where I've properly diagnosed myself 5 times more often than the doctors do.
Wow.
And I'll be like, no, that's incorrect. And they'll be like, no, like I'm telling you what you're saying is wrong. And then like everyone would think I'm crazy, my parents, and I would be right every time. And like, and like my girlfriend would think I'm crazy when she first started dating me because it almost sounded like I was a hypochondriac. She'd be like, oh my God, no, the doctor told you have this. I'm like, I understand the doctor's wrong. I'm like, I can tell you by how I feel and I understand how the body works, that's wrong. And every time I'm right.
Sure.
So like for me, it helps. I can live longer because now I understand, you know. Granted, I'm overweight, so like obviously there's knowledge, but it doesn't mean I apply everything. But like all those things help, right? Financially, being smarter helps you stay more financially literate. You know, being smarter helps you have a easier life because you can program your house to do cool things. And if you didn't have the knowledge to do that, you wouldn't know. Then your life would be a little bit more annoying. So like knowledge just makes everything easier. And so I have severe anxiety. I don't go on planes, don't go on elevators, literally 10 years. And knowledge has helped me go from the point where I literally couldn't leave my house for 2 years straight because I was so anxious to the point where I educated myself to like push myself through that. I couldn't drive more than like 5 minutes from my house before for years.
Whoa, that's dude.
So like knowledge helped me and it escaped, like it helps me do that. So more knowledge just means better life.
Dude,
short answer.
I think that's literally like the epitome of what humans should do. It's literally go out there, see what you can, you know, conquer, see what you can understand, see what you can grasp. And now you have a piece of the world like to your knowledge, you know?
Yeah.
So guys, Dominic, thank you so much for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it. Like I said, dude. And to those listening, to those watching, the purpose of this, you know, whole series is pretty much to show and highlight what is possible if you use these social media platforms correctly, right? So Dominic is one person, and of course, there's multiple layers than just posting content, and hopefully, you know, life just falls into place. Dominic there's so many avenues that you can go into, not just by posting content. Posting content is like kind of like the baseline, but let this story be a testament of what's possible if you use these platforms not just as a entertainment, not just as posting, right? But as a networking platform, right? So, you know, rewatch this a bunch of times, whatever you got to do to get the nuggets in, because I definitely had a lot of nuggets from this interview. So Dominic, thank you so much. And that's it.
All right, man. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this.
Sweet. All right. That was sick, man. Dude, you gotta drop your